All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the adjustable support. And so the first thing I want to do when I look at this is notice that it says dimensions are in inches unless otherwise specified. So I can see here that everything is in inches. And so whenever I start, I always try to figure out where is my 0, 0 going to be, right? So I notice that everything is based off of this point right here, this circle. For example, there's a radius here that's one, and so everything is off that. So I think the best thing to do then is to start here. And I think the first thing I'll do is just make 2 circles. And then I'll just make these circles and then I'll trim them. So that's probably the fastest way to do it. And then I noticed that there are these larger circles, and that's typically done with a tangent radius. So let's make that happen. All right, so I'm going to just probably download this, put this on the side so I can refer to it. All right, so I got this here, and then let me get my AutoCAD open. All right, so I'm good to go. So there's my PDF right there. And so again, let's go ahead and I'm going to model this. So first thing I want to do is make a diameter of 1 inch and then a diameter of 2 inches. So make sure that I've got my settings straight up here. So I'll come and my snap settings. I'll have my polar tracking on and my object snap. Midpoint is very helpful, and this extension is very helpful too. And I'm good to go here. So I'll go here and I'll just go to, since it's giving me the diameter, I'll just go center diameter, and I'll type in, first point is my 0, 0, my center. So I'll type in 0, 0, enter. And then we said the first diameter is 1. So I'll just type in 1 and enter. So the reality is I don't really know the scale here. So I usually have my cube here, and I'll center it. And then just for kicks here, let's do the other one, and then I'll do my dimension center. So I'll do center diameter, and we said the second one was 2 inches diameter. So again, I could just snap to the center here. I don't advise it because it might be off a little bit and you don't realize it. So then I'll type in 2 and push enter. And so again, I'm doing this portion of it right here. So let's just zoom out a little bit. Let's go ahead and dimension this. So I'll go to linear and I'll go to diameter. And so I'll do this one first. That's 2. And then the other one is, we'll do the same thing, diameter. I can always just push enter on my keyboard and I'll do this. All right. So maybe it's a good idea just to get the settings done early on here. So the precision is at 5.00, so hundredths. So the easiest way to do that then is I'll just do that right now so I don't have to deal with that later. So I'll go up here, make sure that I've got my show menu bar. So I'll click show menu bar. Let's go ahead then into our format, dimension style, modify, and then I'll find the precision on here, and I'll change that to 0.00 and say okay, close, and there it is. All right. So so far so good. Now let's go ahead and let's make this. There's some circles here. I know that this one is 3 inches. It doesn't say what this is, but I can deduce that if that's 3 inches, that's going to be 2.5 because that's half of that. So I'll just go ahead and make the, you want to go with what it gives you. So I'll go ahead and do that. So I'll go ahead and make a diameter, or actually I'll do a radius that's 3 inches because that's what it's giving me. Obviously diameter 6, but that's okay. So I'll go circle and I'll say radius. And I'll type in 0, 0, that's my center. And then it wants to know the radius, and it's at 3. So I'll do that, right? So it actually is a center line. So I could do that. I'll do that later just for the sake of argument here. But we said that this is 2.5, and then the other one is going to be 3.5 because it's 1 inch. It's telling us it's 1 inch, so it's half an inch to the x, xy, and minus xy. So let's go ahead and type that in. So I'll go same thing. I'll go center radius, and I will type in, and if I'm off here, just let me know. So we said the first one was going to be, that's 3. It's going to be 2.5, enter. And then I can just push enter on my keyboard because I'm already there. And I'll go ahead and type in 3.5. All right. Oh, didn't do that right. Let's do that again. Enter. Center is 0, 0. And then I'll type in 3.5. All right, so there we go. All right, let me just real quickly make sure that we got everybody in here, participants. All right, nobody's hanging out there. Okay, so let's just look at the drawing because it might be a little confusing right now. And you know what, I may, let's see the best way to do this. So I've got this shape here. So what I need to do is figure out where the center is. So let's, before I get too many, what I'm going to do is I need to find out where this 40 degrees is. So where is that intersection? So we know that's our X on the X axis, but it's 40 degrees. So let's go ahead and make a line. And what I'm going to do then is just type a line, and I'm just going to type in 0, 0. And probably the quickest way to do it on this line tool. So I'll type in 0, 0, enter, and then I'm just going to make a horizontal line. I'm not going to worry that much about it. It's horizontal. I could just type in, let's just type in 5, enter. All right, and then escape. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in, I want to rotate that. So I'm going to type in rotate, and ROTATE, enter. And I'm just going to read what do I want to rotate. That's what I want to rotate, that line. The base point is going to be 0, 0. And then the rotation angle, it's kind of weird. It goes opposite. So I'll type in 40, and there we go. So, maybe not a bad idea. I'm going to do something kind of tricky here. I'm going to say copy, enter, select the object. And then actually, let's do this. I'll type in rotate, enter, select the object, enter. Base point we said was 0, 0, enter. I'm gonna copy it. So I'm gonna hit copy, and then I'll type in -40, enter. All right. And so to verify that's 40 degrees, because I've got this here in my book here, it says 40 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and just verify that dimension. So let's go to our, we'll go to angle, and I'll select it. I'll select the other one, and there's 40 degrees. All right, so that's good. So you'll see what we're doing here. All right, so that helps me because at that intersection, I've got a circle that has a radius of ½ inch, right? So at that intersection of that 3 inches that I made the radius and this 45, I've got 2 circles here. So that's very helpful. So what that tells me then is I just take my circle tool, radius, and I can just snap on that intersection, and I should be able to just go right to that intersection if that is truly ½ inch, or I can just type in 0.5, and there it is, right? And so I'll do another one down here. I'll just circle radius, and I don't really have to type it in. I can just snap there, and it's telling me, all right? So far, so good. So what the heck, all these lines, what are we doing here? I don't have the other lines, so I can actually trim those lines away. So watch what I do. So of course, all I have to do is type in trim. Again, I'm recording this, so we can refer back to it later if you want. And I'm going to basically select everything. I hate it when it does this. Try that again. Control Z, trim, enter. Let's see, let's go down. I don't like when it does it like this. There, all right, that's what I wanted. Okay, that's a new feature. I think that's what I wanted. That's good, all right. So other thing I might want to do while I'm here is, if you notice on the PDF drawing, this is a center line, and I can tell because it's a long, and then there's a little line, and so that's a center line. So what I can do is I can always just go here, and then on the line type, let's see, line type by layer. Let's see, how do I do this again? My apologies. I'm going to go to, give me 1 second here. I'm going to go to line type. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so line type, it doesn't show anything. So what I need to do is load it in here. I don't know why they don't have them all in here. And essentially I want to go to center. And so what you'll find out, if you don't see it, you've probably picked one that's too big. So I'll just do the default one, and I'll say okay. And then what I'll do is I'll select this line, and I'll come over here to line. I'll click center, and you can see there's a center line, right? So if I wanted it, so the other thing I'd want to do is extend this beyond. And so believe it or not, if I zoom in here, you'll see it actually will, on that green line, if I stay on there, it'll project out onto it. So I can do that. Again, what I'm doing is I'm selecting the end of it, And then there's a little green line. It actually wants to stay on that radius, and I can extend it out. So if that doesn't feel right, so what I did was I went to format, and I went to excuse me, I went to line type, and then let's make a smaller one. So I'll load. Let's try the one that's a little smaller. So center line, I'll go 0.5, and I'll say okay. And so there it is. But so what I'll do then is I'll select here, select the line, go to my properties. So I'd right click and hit properties. And then I could go ahead and say center 2, and you'll notice it's a little smaller. All right. Now there's a couple more I need to trim, and I'll be using the trim a lot. So I need to trim the other part of that circle in here. So let's go ahead and type in trim. I don't like the way it's doing it now, but let's just do the best we can. Trim, enter. And so I will just select this, and I can just delete what I don't want. All right, so if we're looking at what we're doing here, actually looks pretty good. I do probably want to go ahead and extend this line, because that's going to be there. So that's also going to be, that's also a center line right there that it's working from, both of these actually. So let's take this, snap that to the center. I'll select both these lines. I'll go to line type, and I'll go to center 2, and I've got multiple lines here. So let's delete one of them. Let's see what we got here. I can fix that later. All right, so anyway, let's just keep plugging through this thing. So now what I want to do is go ahead and I'm going to make these other circles, and then I'll make these tangent circles. So this circle here on the outside, then the radius is going to be, if that says that's a ½ an inch, so that one was 3. So this one's going to be 3 minus 1 is 2, and this one's going to be 4. So let's just do that. So I'll go here and say circle, circle radius. Is that circle radius or diameter radius? And so I'm following the PDF. So let's go circle radius, radius, center 0, 0. And then we said that it was 3 minus 1 is 2. Enter, and I'll push enter again. That'll have the same command. I'll type in 0, 0, enter. And this one is 4, enter. And so that's what that's all about. Now I've got to figure out how I make this. So again, I have a circle that's at the center of this intersection, and it says the radius is 1 inch. So what I'll do then is I'll go to the circle radius, and I'll do that intersection. And it looks like it's a little off. 0.999, that's so close. Let's just type in 1. All right, and then I'll do the same thing down here. 1, enter. And so again, now I'm trying to copy this. That doesn't look right, or does it? Is that right? I guess it is. So let's trim this and see what we have. Excuse me. So I'll type in trim, enter. I want to trim. Let's do that again. So let's zoom in here. You really have to be looking at your drawing as you're doing this. So I don't want this line. I don't want this line, this line, this line. So you really want to be referring to your drawing. I don't want that line. So let's look at the PDF again and just double check that we're doing this right. So help me, PDF. I don't want this line. All right, let's look at the PDF again. So there's my PDF. I think I'm going to, so now I've got this, I need to add these lines, and these are kind of weird lines. And so forgive me if I don't get it right the first time, but what we want to do then is go to, I can do an arc. I can do, let's just go ahead and do circle tangent. So I'll go tangent, tangent, radius. So if you look here, it tells me that the radius of this is 5. And so tangent means that it's coming right onto that line. It is on that line. So I'll go circle, I'll go tangent, tangent, radius, specify first point. I'll select this one, select line second is this one. And then it said the radius was 5. Type in 5, and there it is. So what I've done then is I've created this radius of 5 inches that's tangent to these circles. So what I would do then is type in trim, and I would go ahead. Oh, let's do it in here. Trim, enter, get rid of that and get rid of that. All right. So again, wrong one. That's what I've done here. Now I want to do the bottom one. It's tangent, tangent, radius is 3. So let's do that. Now this is a little different because sometimes when you do it, it goes the opposite way. And I think that's, so we'll go here, circle, and I'll go tangent, tangent, radius, and I'll select this one and this one. And if it goes the wrong way, it depends where your mouse is. And so this one is radius is 3, enter. And so that one, if your mouse is below it, I'm not going to do, let's try another one. We'll go enter, and I'll go tangent. So let's do another one. Specify, let's go tangent, tangent, radius. So we'll do that again. And I'm trying to do it wrong, which is silly of me. This time I'll have my mouse on the bottom. Let's see if it does it. I'll type in like 3. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, so see how that way it went the other way. So it depends where your mouse is. So if your mouse is above the line, it'll go above. All right, so now I'll type in trim, and I'll get rid of this. All right, so far so good. So again, let's just constantly be referring back to this. And so to verify what I'm doing, now I noticed that I need to actually extend that beyond. So I'll just fix that real quick. I'll select this line. Oh, bad. All right, trim. I needed to hit escape. All right, enter and hit escape. So then I want to extend this on. If you look, if you just drag it, you'll notice that there's a green. It should go. Sometimes you got to baby it. You got to be really careful with it. All right, extension. All right, so you can kind of see what we're doing. You'll see a green line, and I control that here with my snap settings, the polar tracking, and the extension, right? So that's where you control these kind of features. All right. So I think I'm actually in pretty good shape here. So let's go ahead and thicken these lines, and then I'll add the dimensions. So to thicken these lines, what I do is I select the lines I want, and I can do it like this. I just have to be careful that I don't select the center lines or the dimensions. That's kind of why I'm doing this now before I get all the dimensions selected in there. And then I'll go ahead and I'll go to my line weight, and you just kind of have to exaggerate it. So I'm going to go 0.5. And then again, if you don't see it, it's probably because you have your show line weight turned off. So it's good that I had it, because now I see that there's some other ones that I missed. And then again, line weight, and I'll go 0.5. All right, so far so good. So just double checking. I think I'm rocking here. Let's go ahead then and put all the dimensions on here. So I want to get these. These are all in radiuses. So just so you know, if it's a full circle, the rule is to dimension it as a diameter. If it's a radius, you don't dimension it in a diameter. Obviously, you do it in a radius. It may be obvious, but it's just telling the viewer, hey, this is not a full circle. It might be obvious, but sometimes you can't really tell because there's so much information. So that's why we're dimensioning it like this. So I'll go here to my radius tool, and I'm just going to try to copy what the textbook does. I can just push enter. That'll do the last command. You don't have to go do it every single time. I'll push enter again, and I'll do this one. All right. And so I think we're doing a good job. I'll do the bottom one. And so I know that that center line, that the bottom is the same, because that's what it's telling me. Just looking at my PDF, I think I have most of these lines here. Now I do want to have this center line here. So a way to just do that really quickly here, because I know that people get very annoyed. I could just type in 0,0, enter, and then come up above the part. Didn't do a good job here. Let's do that again. All right. I'll just type in, let's just type in 2.5, enter. I can push enter again, or I can just grab this thing because I'm lazy and just come straight down with it. Another 2 inches. All right. And then what I'll do is I'll select this line. We already have a center line here. So I'll say line type. We already decided it was center. So there it is. And then we can do another one here. I don't know why this isn't, but let's go ahead and make another line here. So what I might want to do is kick this back a little bit. So let's go ahead and make another line. I'll type in 0,0, enter, and I'll come here. Let's just go let's go maybe 1.5 inches, and then I'll push enter, and I'll do another one. So I'll push enter, 0,0, enter, and then I'll go back here. Let's just go, we'll just stop right there. And then what I think what I'm going to do is take this, kick this back. Let's do this right. All right.
If you click on the line and then you hold shift and click on the dimension of the angle part, you'll just have the line selected, I think.
Okay, thank you. So let me go here and line, we said line type. And so line type, and I'll go center here. Just these little things actually are really important. And I think I pretty much now there's other things we want to do, and you guys are going to help me because I always mess this up. So I could manually do this, but I think there's a way that you guys showed me how to do this, where I select this and I come down here, and for the text, because if you notice the PDF is radius 0.5, not 0.5. So in here, and I remember one of you were showing me last week, I changed that by, I could manually override it just by typing it in. But the problem with that is that if I would change that radius later, it does not change. So
Yeah,
it's
so
going to,
You got
for
zero
the-
override in the dimensions
there you go.
style.
is it over here?
Dimension
suppress
style.
0. I can see it right now on the screen.
All right, so bear with me here. Dimension style, my apologies. I think I just passed it.
Yeah, there you go. Right under primary unit, suppress 0.
Primary units, suppress 0. All right. Suppress 0. Is this
You're
where it
there.
is?
You got the suppress leading. It says right now, it says no.
We want to make that yes.
Correct.
There you go. Cool. Awesome. Thank you. All right. All these great tricks. So the other way I could have done it is you can manually, like, just literally double click and change what's in there. I don't recommend it because if you end up changing the radius in the future, you don't see it. And for your class you did fine, but you're working with yourself, and you can really screw yourself up. You can also do manual overrides here, where you can text override. You can type in R 0.5. I don't recommend doing that kind of thing. But just so you know, you can do it. There's other ways. Obviously, the way that we just did it is by far better. Okay, so I think we're good here. So what I would do then for my class is I would save it, and then just to make sure, you don't technically in AutoCAD print, but you plot. So you could either type in Control P, and then we'd want to go here to our AutoCAD high quality. We're not scaling this. We'll learn about scale some other time. We just do to fit, and I'll go window, and I just want to make sure that all the line weights and everything are doing what we think they're doing, and voila, that looks magnifique. Oh, I did miss a couple of dimensions here. So I missed this radius here, and I missed that dimension. So there's a couple of other things I want to do. I know I'm going to fight this for a little bit. So on some of these, you've got some other ways to do it. But I think for the most part, we're good here. I'm going to stop the recording, and then I will, all right, so